I've been wearing an Apple Watch on my wrist every day for 10 straight years. And for the last year, I've been wearing the Apple Watch Ultra 2. And for the last 2 months, I've been rotating it with the Apple Watch Series 10. I tested both Series 10 titanium models, the 42mm priced at $699 and the 46mm priced at $749. That means there's only a $50 difference between the larger Series 10 and the Ultra 2. My quick conclusion is that if you want the lightest and most comfortable premium Apple Watch, the Series 10 in titanium is tough to beat. And it's ideal for those who prioritize sleep tracking. But if you're after a design that feels different from the classic Apple Watch and a battery that lasts twice as long, the Ultra 2 is the better play. So in this video, we'll go over everything that I've learned while wearing these 3 watches, from sleep tracking to battery life to design. And at the end, I'll let you know which model I plan to keep after I'm done with this review. The design differences between the Series 10 and the Ultra 2 are probably the biggest factor for most people deciding which one to choose. The Series 10 comes in the classic Apple Watch design, but it's actually got a few design changes from past generations, all of which were more noticeable than I anticipated. First off, the Series 10 is about 10% thinner than last year's Series 9, and this thinness was shaved off the bottom of the watch, letting it sit closer to your wrist. Before I got the Ultra, the stainless steel watches were always my go-to because there's a huge bump in quality from the stainless steel to the entry-level aluminum. But the downside of going with the stainless steel is that it was quite a bit heavier. But this year on the premium end, Apple swapped out the stainless steel for titanium, which means that you'll get a premium finish, but it's 24% lighter than last year's stainless steel. Wearing the Series 10 all day and even when I'm sleeping is no problem. I hardly even notice I'm wearing a watch. And the titanium comes in 3 different shiny finishes. And this year, the screen got a bit bigger while some of the casing got shaved off the sides. In the 46mm model, has the screen real estate to match the Ultra, but in a smaller package. The Series 10 is definitely a less opinionated design than the Ultra, which is great for anybody looking for a sleek and versatile design that isn't shouting for attention. The Ultra 2, on the other hand, has a completely different feel. It's got a rugged, flat screen and a protective shield over the digital crown, and it comes in 2 brushed titanium finishes. To me, it just feels like a more advanced and more modern Apple Watch. The orange accents aren't my favorite, and I wish the bezels were shrunken down a bit, but the Ultra helps you stand out compared to the regular Apple Watch that everyone else has on their wrist. The Ultra is also heavy and thick. It's almost 50% heavier and thicker than the Series 10. So when I'm moving around during the day, I barely notice the Ultra 2. But when laying down or relaxing, that's when the extra bulk becomes obvious. And I usually just end up taking off my Ultra when it's late at night and I'm sitting on the couch watching TV and trying to relax. Also on the Ultra, you'll get the amazing modular Ultra watch face, which has a handy night mode. This night mode turns your watch face a gentle red in low light so that you're not lighting up the entire area in a dim room. It's just one of those features that's exclusive to the Ultra that adds convenience to your life in a subtle way, but it's very practical. The Series 10 has all-day battery, according to Apple, which means that it'll get 18 hours of runtime. But in my actual use, I get about 30 hours on the 42mm size with the always-on display enabled, and about 36 with it off. In the 46mm model, it gives you a few extra hours over the 42. And with quick charging, it's easy to get a boost when I need it. Just 30 minutes gets you from 0% to 80%, which is faster than the Series 9 by about 15 minutes. And for those who want to wear their Apple Watch to bed for sleep tracking, the Series 10 is just way more comfortable. I'd prefer nothing on my wrist when I'm sleeping, and I currently use my 8 Sleep to track my sleep, but there were actually a few nights where I ended up sleeping with my Series 10 unintentionally just because it was so light and I kind of just forgot it was there. If you're after longer lasting battery, the Ultra 2 has you covered. Apple lists the Ultra's runtime as 36 hours, which is twice the runtime of the Series 10. In my testing, I was averaging about 63 hours of runtime with the always on screen enabled and then 76 hours with it off. This type of battery life is awesome if you don't want to charge your watch every single night. As an avid closer my activity rings each day, having a dead Apple Watch is a deal breaker for me. With the regular Apple Watches, I always have to pack my charger with me for overnight stays or trips. But with the Ultra, a single night away from home doesn't require the charger at all. This kind of flexibility is nice and way more useful than I originally anticipated. You could go back and watch my Ultra 2 video from last year, and I kind of wrote off the battery life and saying it's not really that big a deal, but I liked it a lot. And ironically, the Ultra's extra battery life should make it ideal for sleep tracking, but due to the thickness and the shape and just overall bulkiness, it's just not ideal. And since the watch sits higher off the wrist, I've noticed that it sometimes gets caught on pillows if my hand is under my head, which is super annoying. Personally, if I'm not reviewing it and trying to get more data, you'll never catch me wearing the Ultra in bed. The Ultra's battery also offers better longevity. If you plan to keep your watch for 4 or 5 years, that battery is still going to get you through a full day. Whereas with the Series 10 or especially the SE, once you get past that third or fourth year, they really struggle to get through a full day. You can also enable the optimized battery charging feature, which will learn your daily usage habits and determine when to charge to an optimized limit and when to allow a full charge. So setting these charge limits will actually help you get even more out of your battery's lifespan. So overall, the Ultra's battery is great for those who want to maximize flexibility. But for most typical users, as long as you stick to a charging routine, the extra runtime in the Ultra isn't critical. Despite Apple's marketing, you don't need to be an ultra marathoner or extreme sports athlete to enjoy the extra battery life, flat screen, and durability. If you hate charging every day, the Ultra 2's battery life alone makes it worth considering. And it's perfect for anybody who wants something substantial or to make a statement. The action button is super useful too, and something I don't like being without. I've set my button to open my workout app, but if you don't use it for fitness, it's easy to program other things with Siri shortcuts. The Ultra 2 also beats the Series 10 in a handful of other small ways, like a 3000 nit screen, which is 50% brighter. It has a built-in siren, it has dual frequency GPS, and twice the water resistance. But for most everyday users, these extra features won't be game changers. On the other hand, the Series 10 actually has a better processing chip with the S10 compared to the Ultra 2's S9, but there wasn't a single time in real life where I noticed the difference in speed. The Series 10 is Apple's most refined, versatile Apple Watch for people who value comfort and aren't looking for something that stands out. It's got a nice screen that flows right off the edge, and the titanium build gives it a premium feel without any extra weight. This makes it a great fit for sleep tracking, daily workouts, or just wearing it all day without noticing it. If you're into sleep tracking, the Series 10 is much easier to wear, and the 42mm size is my favorite for that. Plus, if you don't care about the premium materials and you're just after the 10 for its feature set, you can save a bunch by going with one of the aluminum models for $400 or $500 if you want the cellular version. You'll still get all the core Apple Watch Series 10 functionality, just with a much worse build quality. After wearing the Ultra 2 for a year, I've enjoyed the switch to the Series 10 a lot. The ability to just kind of forget that you're wearing it is great. I seriously considered keeping it, and I definitely would have if I needed it for sleep tracking. But I still love the Ultra's flat screen, action button, and statement-making design. And I love the longer battery life for overnight trips way more than I expected to. But I really wouldn't be disappointed with keeping either one of these. They're both incredible watches. Last year, if you were in the premium market, I kind of thought the Ultra 2 was a no-brainer over the Series 9. But the Series 10 made a lot of subtle improvements over the Series 9 that just make the experience a lot better. I will say that if I were to keep the Series 10, I think I would keep the 42 over the 46. And my thinking is that if you want lightweight and nimble, you might as well just lean into that. The 46 was great and I wore it for a couple of weeks, but if you're after a huge screen, just go all the way to the Ultra 2. So that's all I have for this video. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the Apple Watch models, even ones that I didn't cover in this video. I've tested them all and I will gladly answer whatever. So thanks for watching this one. I'm out.